About 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I lost vision in my left eye. I woke up and I was making breakfast and I couldn't really see. It felt a bit like, you burn something in the oven and the house gets all like smoky and it's a bit hazy. That's what it felt like. I was squinting a little bit, but I brushed it aside and started working on my paper. I was writing one of my final uni papers, and as I was writing my paper, I realized I couldn't really see what I was typing anymore, and I was kind of like squinting, closing my eyes, and I realized that this left eye, it was almost completely glossed over. I couldn't see anything, and at that point I was so deep in my kind of headspace of just getting my work done that I couldn't really fathom that it was anything more serious than just like an intense eye strain. So I went to bed early that night, but I woke up and I was actually in horrible pain, so much worse than the day before. It felt, and I apologize because I think it's a bit grim, but it felt like somebody took a butter knife and put it in the corner of my eye, behind my eye. It felt like somebody was digging into the corner of my eye. It could not be ignored anymore, but I had class the next morning and I needed to hand my first final exam in during that class. So my best friend, she picked me up, and by the time that I got to the uni campus, I literally had convinced myself that I needed to go to the emergency room. I ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor told me that it was a condition that was caused by stress, which was really upsetting for me. Earlier in the year, in January, I had made a commitment to myself to put much less pressure on myself. I'd recognized that in order to finish my university degree, in order to go to grad school and to start the career that I wanted to have, I was putting an untenable amount of pressure on myself. I think December, January was a bit of an intervention point for myself, where I'd sat down and I'd said, I cannot live a life where I'm feeling like this all the time. During that time, I became kind of interested in this concept of slow living. So some of the tenets of slow living that I stumbled across were, starting your morning with a long morning routine, which included meditation and journaling and making sure you're getting enough water and exercise and eating healthy, connecting with people in social capacities in a very meaningful way, right? So I implemented a lot of these strategies in January, and January was such a fun month. As January was coming to a close, I felt like I'd really embodied this ideal of slow living. I felt like I was living exactly intentionally, exactly how I wanted to, and I'd finally cracked the code to having a life where I was not feeling so awful about myself, just so awful generally, with such fragile mental health, or just a general like fragility of my soul. And then the end of January came around and I had a meeting for my practicum for grad school. And they basically told us in the meeting that during February, before the end of the month, every single step of our practicum application process was going to happen. We were going to need to make decisions about where we wanted to apply, write personal statements, cover letters, update our resumes, get in contact with the supervisors, interview. And the other thing with my practicum is that it's important to me because my practicum could potentially influence where I work after I graduate, and so making a good impression and a good connection with the practicum that I choose is also incredibly important to my future. And that was already overwhelming enough. But on top of that, I was in full-time classes, and I had scheduled a bunch of my presentations for that time. So it led to this kind of impossible schedule in February, where I had basically something due every single day. I was given a very unfair kind of hand, where I had to say yes to doing all of this work, because if I didn't say yes, I was throwing away an opportunity that I probably would never get again. Obviously, during a period of stress, you can't really contain stress like within a month. In theory, maybe you could just say, February's a really tough month, and then March is better, and then April's better. But, it just all bled into each other. There was things I put off in February that had to move into March, then things I put off to deal with February stuff in March, which bled into April. And pretty soon it's the second week of April, and I just have so much pressure on me and stress that I'm still paying for what I did in February. And now I'm doing it with one eye, so that was really not great. And I've been in glasses. I don't know I never wear my glasses because I like to wear sunglasses, and regular glasses get in the way of me wearing my sunglasses. So I've been in glasses. I haven't been able to wear contacts for like three weeks. It was rough. This has all been rough. So I go back to this concept of like slow living with so much more skepticism, because the the thing is it was very naive of me to believe in January that somehow I could just embody slow living. I mean, for starters, what a privilege to be able to live a life where you're living intentionally and slowly, because really, like, to live a life like that means you don't have the pressures on you, the economic and the social pressures on you that lead to stress. But also, I think inevitably, every single person is going to go through periods of impossibility, right? Having a child, losing somebody who's close to you, just all these things that happen in life, all these great, losing your job, right? Going through a breakup or a divorce, these things are just, they're inevitabilities of life. And so even if you choose ease, I mean, I think that there's a reason why slow living has proliferated so well on social media. It's because it is an ideal. It looks great on camera, but the reality of it is that there's no such thing as slow living. Now, I know that the idea behind taking on a low stress life or slow living is to try to create an environment where when those stresses do inevitably come, you might be better prepped to deal with it because other stresses are not weighing on you as much. And I can respect that. But I suppose what I'm critiquing here, and critiquing myself in the process, is this kind of idealistic, slow life. This idea that you would be able to transform yourself into somebody who lives in harmony and peace with the world. I don't know about that. I think that the life is chaotic and absurd, and these moments of stress are going to find us, even when we're squirreled away in our little cabins, living amongst the trees, stress still finds us. I suppose I made this video because, and this is just a rambly video, I'm sorry. I just want to talk about my emotions, kind of chat them out with you guys, tell you that I'm so sorry for being missing. I've been going through so much recently. The situation with my eye was it was bizarre, but I think that what I've come up with is if this was like, these are my notes that I've kind of been looking at. I wrote them in the bath this morning. If this was like an actual essay, actual video essay or written essay, this would basically be like my brainstorming process. Like, this is even before my first draft. I'm just sort of thinking through some of these things. But I've been thinking about ease and the role that it plays in my life. So I kind of describe ease as a feeling, a sense of gratitude, acceptance, and appreciation. I see ease as that moment when you step into the back garden on June 15th or something, and you just take a deep breath, and it smells so fresh and so clean, and you feel this sense of acceptance, gratitude, and appreciation. I would say that's ease. I think the way that I was approaching ease or breaks during February was kind of like the same way you might go to the medicine cabinet and take an Advil, right? I was feeling kind of sick and tired midday because I've been working so hard, and so I decide to go to the medicine cabinet and take a break. And sometimes that break would be going out for coffee with a friend or taking a nap, or I was using ease as a way to medicate myself to get through this hard period in my life. And what I wish that I had done differently was not to see ease as an escape from the life that I was living, but instead ease as a part of life as well. Because if chaos and stress is an inevitability, so is ease. Ease is obviously, it's the opposite side of that, so then it must be an inevitability as well. So if ease is an inevitability, if moments of ease are always inevitable, then how can we get to those moments of ease? How do we aspire toward ease? And this is the phrase that I kind of came to, was the aspiration toward ease. I realized that for me, ease was not going to be something that I could save up like vacation hours to take after a period of stress. Ease was also not going to be a pill that I dosed, a little bit over time during the stressful moments, but instead that ease was a part of life itself. And whilst I was going through a stressful life period, I was also simultaneously living a life that could have been full of ease as well. Not every moment ease is going to be the most poignant part of your life. February was ugly and cold outside and stressful in so many different ways. But at the same time, there was 100 million other brilliant things going on that I could have found ease in, had I, aspired toward it. Okay, so if we see ease as an aspiration in the same way that we might see professional development as an aspiration, or making money, or achieving our goals, or creating art as a type of aspiration, then we actually have work to do. Just like you don't immediately start playing piano the second that you see a piano. You have to teach yourself how to have ease. And I think that's where the aspirational part comes from, is recognizing that maybe in this moment I'm not at ease in the way that I want to be at ease, but that I can aspire toward it. Aspiration and ease are often put on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? I see ease as opposing that those aspirations. But what if we took ease from over here and we put it into those aspirations as well? Because really, when we think about the future that we want, beautiful kitchen, clothes, people in our lives that we care about, a car, all these things, we're thinking of moments of appreciation and gratitude. We're thinking of those moments of ease. So I guess I'm thinking about like how I aspire toward ease and how I cannot see ease as like laziness or a break from life, but as a part of the life that I'm leading. One thing I was thinking about is that when you look up ways to be more intentional with living, ways to slow live, all these things, right? You kind of get the same advice over and over again, which is to go on more walks, to spend time with the people you care about, to journal. And I mean, these are all lovely things and things that I personally do all the time. So I'm not, making fun of those things, but if ease is a part of life, and it's not just this thing that we do, and we don't wake up early from, 4 to 6 a.m. and do a routine of ease and then go into the stressful part of life, but if ease is constantly flowing through our day. So I guess what I'm trying to say, in summary, is that I no longer see stress as something that can be avoided by living intentionally, or particularly stress is an inevitability, right? And I also no longer see ease and breaks and rest as sort of medication that you can take that kind of qualms that inevitable stress. But instead, I see stress and ease as being two sides of the same stream that are kind of flowing through your life. If I was to go back to February and talk to that version of myself who hit this period of inevitable stress, I don't know that I would say to her, don't work hard, take breaks, or say no, because it led to me being in April and having accomplished so many things and getting closer to some of my goals and aspirations. But I might say to her that at the same time that you are feeling stress and you're looking to aspire toward dealing with that stress, you should also aspire toward finding ease, like genuine ease, not just going to bed early, not just watching a YouTube video whilst you eat lunch, but genuinely looking for moments where you feel that kind of deep gratitude and appreciation. And I think the best way to do that, the best way to find that kind of ease is not to, uphold a particular routine like journaling or going on long walks or runs or doing yoga or meditating, but to be open-minded and curious, to be open to where ease might enter into your life, whether that's, something that is kind of loud and crazy. I mean, one of the places that I feel the most at ease is deep into the city when 100 sirens and horns are going off and people are talking loud on their phones and yelling and there's music playing from outside the restaurants. Those are some of the most deeply gracious moments for me. So instead of looking for some sort of quiet, idealistic life, or just looking for times when, you can shut yourself in and whatever, like look for the genuine moments of gratitude and appreciation in order to counteract that inevitable stress that arises. But yeah, I guess this is something I'm just thinking about. I mean, again, like it's April and I'm only still just getting my vision back, so this is just like the beginning stages of a thought. But I just wanted to chat it out because maybe somebody else is going through a tough time. I think it's a rough time of the year, spring. It would be great if it was all good, but nothing's all good. So if you want to leave me a comment with some of your thoughts, I'd really appreciate that. Woo! You guys always leave the most thoughtful comments, so I'd love to see them. I love you so much. Bye!